नमस्कार डीडी स्पोर्ट्स पर आप सभी देख रहे हैं क्रिक लाइव। मैं हूं शिखा सचदेवा talking about the India's T20 journey so far. Going back into the history, India's played its first T20 against South Africa back in 2006, 1st of December at Johannesburg, South Africa के खिलाफ, जहां भारत ने 6 विकेट से जीत दर्ज की थी. Ever since, the team has evolved both in the terms of players and the games. बहरहाल आज के क्रिक लाइव में हम बात करेंगे भारत की, खासतौर से जब T20 की जर्नी की बात करते हैं अप अगेंस्ट श्रीलंका, साथ हम बात करेंगे सभी प्लेयर्स के बारे में, स्पेशली द बॉलिंग अटैक इन द T20 इंटरनेशनल. To talk this and lot more, I am not all alone. I have with me sports expert Mihir Mankar. Very welcome, Mihir.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to this.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the discussion, looking forward to the India's T20 international journey. How do you see its journey so far? As I said, it's been evolved, both in terms of games, players, matches, performance, especially keeping in view the T20 World Cup, which is supposed to be held later this year.
Yeah, you know what I really enjoy seeing in this series is that what was called a replacement team is actually giving an opportunity to many players who have been just knocking on the door and waiting for an opportunity, and we see them here. The replacement team, people say the second team or the third team, still has world-class players who are showing their mettle. Now, what happened yesterday came down to a couple of balls, right? Even with this team that we fielded, we were right there, and now is the time with the series tied 1-1 with the storied history of Indian cricket and the storied history of Sri Lanka to come through.
Absolutely. So, you know, the young blood, the new men, new faces, they are all geared up. तो ये नज़र डालते हैं जब हम बात करते हैं विकेट टेकर्स के बारे में, खासतौर से मिहिर. So when we talk about the bowling attack, starting about with the Bhuvneshwar Kumar, he played phenomenal there, and probably he has that reserved spot. As far as, you know, the numbers are there on the screen. He has played 50 matches there in all, where he has taken 50 wickets and an average of 24.99. So, you know, when we talk about Bhuvneshwar Kumar, probably, you know, he is a player who has sealed his spot, there in the team squad with his experience and Mihir with the game he played. He is that strongest player in the team so far.
Bhuvneshwar Kumar comes from Meerut. Meerut is known for sports goods. There was another Kumar, Praveen Kumar, also from Meerut. And in this case, this bowler has got to be one of the most reliable bowlers on that mammoth T20 squad of India. You know, besides just T20 eyes, he has 201 wickets from 192 matches. He made his debut for India at the age of 22. So we have 9 years of outstanding experience that comes in here. Yesterday, a little bit of a mixed performance, a dropped catch, and perhaps not doing as much with the bat that we wanted from him. But his number one job for this attack, for this team, is to start the men in blue off well against the Lions of Lanka. And you know, with that, the fact that he's available and he's going strong right now is great news for India.
Absolutely. So, you know, Bhuvneshwar Kumar is known for the comeback. Probably there's another guest, a special one who has joined us in the conversation. Very popular former international cricketer, Maninder Singh. Maninder, it's great to have you there on the show. And who better than you can talk about the India spinning attack, the pace attack, the bowling attack? Because today is the day when we'll be talking about the India's T20 journey so far. And I asked Mihir as well, how do you see the team has grown in the terms of players, performance, competition? How do you rate?
I think we've got plenty of players in the pool at the minute, and you know, you can choose from the players who are in form because that is very important, because that is what I believe in, that when the players are in form, give them an opportunity. And Bhuvneshwar, even though I'm not really impressed, I feel there is some niggle somewhere down the line, but he's getting wickets.
He's getting wickets.
So that is very important, because, you know, once you start getting wickets, you start getting the confidence. So as far as the T20 format is concerned, I think India is really ready for it. It's just that they need to gel together. And it depends, you know, how they come out of this, all this bubble and everything, because it's not very easy for the players, because I've been in a bubble for a bit, you know, for a week. And I started getting frustrated. So I really don't know how these boys are handling it. It's not an easy job to do. So international cricket, you've got to be mentally very strong, and there is another challenge now for you.
Another challenge, bio bubble, both on your physical and the mental pressure. We are here talking about Bhuvneshwar Kumar, the 4th Indian ever to take that 50 wickets after Chehal, Bumrah and Ravindra Ashwin. And Mihir, as well, he, for the first time ever in his international career, played at 6th spot.
Yeah, but remember, he has made a score of 128 in Duleep Trophy. Now, I know we came down to 5 batsmen, given the COVID situation, and the team really had to make the most of it. But I don't think it was a bad strategy putting him in there and seeing what he can do. Look, what I feel, Maninderji, is that if there was a series where we have to bring out the next set of players, it could be this one, right? So Sri Lanka, a great history. Sri Lanka, as you know well, from the days of Ranatunga, Duleep Mendes, Jayasuriya, that strength is not there today. And we have a young side fighting to rise up to the rankings above 9. But I think this is a good moment for India to showcase these players who've done very well in the IPL, but also for India making debuts and having the pressure right now to win the equalizer.
Absolutely. That was about the Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, because we need to talk about R. Ashwin as well, who's already queued up there on the screen because numbers are there waiting. So let's take a look when we talk about the Indian premier spinner R. Ashwin. So here, Maninderji, when we see 46 matches and 52 wickets, his experience count, his performance count, and he has sealed that place, that spot in the Indian squad.
Well, I don't think for T20 cricket anymore, because I think the selectors have made it very clear that, no more white ball cricket for Ravichandran Ashwin, even though he's experienced. But, in white ball cricket, it's very important, especially in T20 cricket, your fielding is very, very important. And I think he's struggling a little bit as far as his fielding is concerned. His fitness level is not all that high. This is a time to give an opportunity to youngsters, like Mihir said. And, even though you're playing against a depleted, I would say, Sri Lankan side who are at number 9 in the ranking in T20 cricket. But at the same time, when you give these young boys opportunities, like I'm talking about Ruturaj Gaikwad or Padikkal, the selectors will get to know one thing for sure, that are they ready for international cricket? Because I've always maintained that, you've got to be mentally very strong when you're playing international cricket, because to handle that pressure in India is not all that easy. So if you can handle that pressure, and even if you're playing against a side like Sri Lanka, who are not doing very well at the minute, but at least, your mental approach, how you're ready for it, the selectors can get to know.
Selectors can get to know. And as far as, Maninderji, keeping in view the World Cup T20, which is supposed to be played later this year, it would be in UAE. Keeping in view the pitch and the ground, do you think it would be helpful for the spinners?
Oh, yes. I think the UAE pitches always help the spinners, because they're dry pitches, how much ever they water it, how much ever they roll it, but the weather is such that it dries up the pitch very quickly, so the spinners do get a lot of help. So I think the spinners are going to play a big role in T20 World Cup, because it's going to be played in the UAE. The grounds are also not all that big. So it's going to be a challenge, I think, for the spinners as well, because the leg spinners we've seen, especially in T20 cricket, when we said that what are the spinners going to do? I think the spinners have played a big role. And if you're going to get pitches like in UAE, I think they'll play an even bigger role if they want to make their teams win.
Absolutely. The spinners are there to play the big role in the T20 International World Cup, which would be played in October and November this year. Moving to the next bowlers, let's take a look what the number tells there on your television screen. So there we are watching when we talk about Bumrah, 50 matches, 59 wickets. He is the player to look for. How do you see the best bowling figures of him is in T20 game, 4 for 14. So plenty of talks have already been there, Mihir, for Bumrah. The way, his prolonged international career, how do you rank this bowler and his performance?
Well, I would rank him as one of the best in the world. Now, he has a bit of an unconventional throw, a little style that he brings in, but I think it's also crafted and perfected in the way that works for him. I think he has been striking terror in the hearts of batsmen around the world, and I think that's agnostic of the format. I think in T22, when you have, say, 24 balls and you come in and you're able to strike that terror, if you're able to move the ball the way he does, and I think he can move the ball on wickets that aren't even just conducive for pace bowlers.
Absolutely.
Having him on the side is definitely a huge asset,
Absolutely.
I think, for India or for any team.
Yes, I think he's somebody who gets his captain wickets. When he bowls up front with a new ball, he gets you wickets. If you give him the older ball, he gets you wickets. But I think recently he's been struggling a little bit. He didn't have a very good IPL.
Yes,
and
because
then in that World Championship
Maninder,
match,
plenty of talks on his form, on his performance. So there's plenty of talks going on, especially keeping in view his international career.
yeah, in World Championship cricket also, in those conditions, he didn't really bowl too well, because I thought if he had bowled well, India would have won that game, because those conditions were well suited for him. So I really hope he's not carrying an injury, because he's going to be a very important member of the Indian team, if India has to win the T20 World Cup. Because as I said earlier, he's somebody who gets his captain wickets at important times. Whenever the captain throws the ball up to him, when the captain needs wickets, he obliges his captain. So I really hope his fitness level is high and he gets his confidence back as well, because not getting wickets in that World Test Championship, I think his confidence would have got beaten a little bit. So वो confidence आना मेरे ख्याल से बहुत ज़रूरी है, क्योंकि बुमराह मेरे हिसाब से एक मैच विनिंग बॉलर।
एब्सोल्युटली कॉन्फिडेंस आना जरूरी है, ना केवल आपके खुद की परफॉर्मेंस के लिए बल्कि ओवरऑल फॉर योर टीम एंड फॉर दोस स्कोर्स एंड विनिंग दैट मैच। आगे चलते हैं, विनिंग की बात करते हैं, ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन द कोचिंग एंड द ट्रेनिंग। आइए सुनते हैं क्या कहना है इंडियन कोच पारस का।
Pretty happy with their performance, and I've seen them last few years. I've been associated with them. They've been part of the India A setup for a while. And very pleased the way they have progressed. They definitely had a lot of potential, and that's the reason they represent the country. I think I'm pretty happy in terms of the pool that we have right now going ahead. It's the spinners and the fast bowlers. There's a lot of talent available with us. So definitely looking forward, and I'm pretty happy the way they have progressed. They have bowled in these conditions. They have performed well. Not easy wickets. I think in terms of the games that we have had as well. Some low scoring, some high scoring, but in general, very happy with the way they have bowled. He is an extremely talented bowler and is a very thinking bowler. There are a lot of discussions.
So जब हम कोचिंग की बात करते हैं अभिनंदन जी, to your performance, to your teammate, especially जब हम देखते हैं मैचेस बैक टू बैक होते हैं, 24 घंटे का भी फर्क नहीं होता है, there is what the coach role plays. How do you rank that?
I think the players also, they're playing international cricket, so I think they are also ready for it, because if they know that this is the situation, they start preparing themselves from, the previous night itself. So coach का तो बड़ा रोल होता है, इसमें तो कोई शक की बात नहीं है, और पारस आमरे को मैं जानता हूँ, मामरे को मैं अच्छी तरह जानता हूँ, Rahul Dravid, we all know that he is such a brilliant motivator, and I think Mamre just said that he's confident that these boys are going to do well. They're confident enough. He was talking about Kuldeep Yadav as well. I really hope that, they keep their spirits up, because even though this is a depleted Indian side, but I still feel that they could beat this Sri Lankan side. Even though the Sri Lankan side won yesterday, but they chasing a target of 133, and the Indian bowlers took them till the last over. If they had fielded well and taken those catches, probably India could have won that game as well. So, they're just 5 batsmen, but I still feel that these bowlers have the potential, or these batsmen have the potential to beat this Sri Lankan team.
Absolutely, they have the potential and the right opportunity there to knock at the right time. Mehral murte agle khiladi ki taraf, who's there in the fixture, both in ODIs and T20 International. Let's take a look at the stats of Yuzvendra Chahal. So there are 49 watches, 63 wickets with an average of 25.30. You talk about Yuzvendra, the Indian leg spinner. As I said, he has been a regular fixture. So though after 2019 World Cup, Chahal and Kuldeep Yadav were no longer, able to command their performance, how do you rank? And he's also a strong pillar there in the Indian team.
I think when they both bowl together, they complement each other.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, the situation was such that they couldn't play both of them together. And somewhere down the line, because of that, the form really went down. जब चहल को खिलाते थे उनकी वो फॉर्म नहीं लगती थी, जब कुलदीप यादव को खिलाते थे उनकी वो फॉर्म नहीं लगती थी, लेकिन जब दोनों को इकट्ठे खिलाते थे तो ये कॉम्प्लीमेंट करते थे एक दूसरे को. सो जिस तरह की पिचेस रहने वाली हैं यूएई में, और अगर ये दोनों टीम में रहते हैं, और जिस तरह से इस समय यादव बॉलिंग कर रहे हैं, उनका कॉन्फिडेंस वापस आ रहा होगा अगर सिलेक्टर्स उनको सिलेक्ट करते हैं, सो प्रॉब्ली फिर से वही कहानी दोहरा सकते हैं जो इन्होंने आज से 2 साल पहले
हमें कुलचा पर वो काला नमक और गरम मसाला with all that chaat masala and a mouth watering dish would be served Mihir when you see both the combination, especially when you talk about Chahal up with Kuldeep Yadav.
Yeah, so Chahal, we know that he can be a match winner and he has some tricks up his sleeve, but if you talk about Kuldeep Yadav, what we saw yesterday was really good for Indian cricket. Now, luck was due for Kuldeep Yadav. Right? The last time he was in the IPL in 2020, he got to bowl just 12 overs. And, and only back in 2019, until then was the time he had a shot at T20 and his economy was about 9 and over and he'd just gotten 1 wicket. But yesterday, the 2 for 30 that he got doesn't still do justice to how crafty he was. Remember, he had Shanaka Plum LBW on his second ball. And at that point, the Indian team decided not to appeal that decision. That would have been another wicket. Then he had Da Silva, who was the match winner for the Lankans, caught behind, had Sanju Samson, just had that reflex. He missed it by a hair. And then Minod Banuka also was dropped by Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. I mean, I know you can't add that cumulatively, but besides the 2 wickets that he actually took, he had 3 more chances. Then if you do that in 4 overs, when the pressure is on you, I think this can only be good news for Team India and a little bit of a dilemma that this person now, he's got the maturity, but Kuldeep Yadav can be an asset for Team India.
I think that's the best way to get your confidence back, to get wickets, whenever you're bowling, and you create opportunities as well. Like Mir said that, there were catches dropped, but, the bowler does get that confidence that at least I created opportunities and, unfortunately didn't get wickets. But on my day, this too could be 4. So getting wickets is very important for any bowlers. And in 20 overs cricket, if you start getting wickets, then that confidence even goes higher.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Maninder, bowling becomes very tough when you talk about the T20 format, because in the short span, you've just given 4 overs, you have to give your best shot, and even the striking rate of the batsman is very high, too high, big shots and big runs there. So I think the bowling becomes altogether, different.
I think I would have loved to bowl in circumstances like that, because more opportunities for you to get wickets. Because if the batsman is going after you and if you're crafty and if you've got the skill, there is more chances for you to get wickets. And that is the column you always want to have, 2, 3, 4 in that column, because that keeps your confidence going.
Maninderji, I would love to see you suit up again. I was so happy to see you after so many years and so fit. And I remember in the 80s, I really feel at one point you were the most effective bowler in the world in those matches that I'd seen you. But one more just addition to Kuldeep Yadav. You mentioned the wickets that he got, and he got 2 wickets yesterday. But see, most importantly, the coach, Paris Mambre, says that this is a thinking bowler. So he's a thinking bowler, and coach has said that he's an extremely talented bowler. So you get talent now, a little bit of luck coming his way and some confidence. Yeah. I think we're going to have some good options.
Yes.
Absolutely. So talent with the opportunity, जिसको हम कहते हैं सही मौका आना, to grab that opportunity and perform to the best of your ability. So looking for those breakthroughs, और Maninder we saw those bowlers as well. Any point of concern, do you think, especially when we talk about the Indian spinner attack, as you take the field, the pitch would be there for the Indian spinners?
I was a little disappointed with Rahul Chahar because, I think he's going to be a good prospect in the years to come. So his confidence level looked very low. And, when you come to a pressure situation like this, ये जो pressure आता है ना, इसको आप कैसे handle करते हैं, वो आपका character बता देता है. So Rahul Chahar मैं कहूँगा अभी beginning है, probably वो pressure को बहुत ज़्यादा ले रहे हैं क्योंकि कई bowlers ऐसे होते हैं, मैंने भी देखा है, जो अपने ऊपर सारा ही प्रेशर ले लेते हैं कि इस पिच से मदद है, स्कोर उतना ज़्यादा नहीं है, केवल 133 रन्स बनाने हैं श्रीलंका को जीतने के लिए. सो मेरे से ही एक्सपेक्ट किया जाता है. सो वो इतना ज़्यादा दबाव, एक तो पहले इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेट का दबाव है, फिर अपने ऊपर आप इतना ज़्यादा दबाव खुद से बना लेते हैं. सो बॉल फंसनी शुरू हो जाती है हाथ में, जो कि राहुल चहर के साथ कल हो रहा था. सो यहाँ पर कोचेस की जो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है वो बढ़ जाती है कि किस तरह से उस प्रेशर को रिलीव करके रखें, ताकि ये जिस तरह के बॉलर हैं और इस तरह की पिचेस के ऊपर तो इनको खेलने नहीं देना चाहिए.
एब्सोल्युटली. तो मतलब आपकी परफॉर्मेंस कहें, आपका मेंटल स्ट्रेस कहें, किस तरीके से आप उसको मैनेज करते हो. एट द सेम टाइम you have to score big, you have to take wickets, and at the end of the day close it on a victory note. On that note, thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining in. Maninderji and Mihir, it's always a pleasure to have you both. That's it. On the behalf of the entire team, this is Shikha signing off. Stay tuned. You keep watching DD Sports.
साथियों, जो देश के लिए तिरंगा उठाता है, उसके सम्मान में भावनाओं से भर जाना स्वाभाविक ही है। देशभक्ति की ये भावना हम सबको जोड़ती